ready to keep moving Arizona forward, and together, we'll make sure the people of Arizona always come first.
Governor Katie Hobbs making it official this morning. She announced her re-election campaign just a couple of hours ago. Well, Governor Hobbs, a Democrat, will eventually face off against one of 3 Republicans looking to oppose her. They are current Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs, David Schweikert, and business owner Karen Taylor Robeson. Just hours after her announcement, Governor Katie Hobbs joins us here in studio this morning to speak about her re-election campaign. Good morning, Governor.
Good morning.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We're looking into a couple of different things. I think there's some issues, and we'll jump right into it, that are really concerning Arizonans kind of moving forward. They're concerned about a number of issues. One is housing.
Yep.
Jobs, the border, which you've actually acted on. How do you help Arizonans feel confident about where we're moving?
Well, when I came into office, these were challenges that I knew I needed to tackle, challenges that many politicians had kicked down the road for years, and I took them on. And so I'm really proud of the work we've done to address housing affordability, to secure the border, to continue to create good paying jobs in our state, and lower costs for Arizonans, which I know is a huge issue. There is more work to be done, and I'm ready to do it.
When you speak about more work to be done, let's talk about rising gas prices, rising grocery prices here in Arizona. I think there was a recent Wallet Hub survey that said that Phoenix ranked 54th on the list when it came to how much groceries have risen around the country in terms of cities. How do we even drop those prices? Is there a way to control them, or how do we put more money in people's pockets so they can pay their bills or feed their families?
Yeah, I mean, I've taken action where I can. I canceled $2 billion of medical debt for 1 million Arizonans. We delivered a tax rebate. We canceled the rental tax for Arizonans. You know, again, there's more to do. But right now, we're facing Washington politicians who continue to drive prices up with this misguided trade war. Now we're facing huge cuts to health care, not just the looming cuts to Medicaid, but that's affecting everyone's access to health care and affordability, where people who are in the process of re-enrolling for insurance very soon are going to see huge increases in their premiums.
You know, what's it like at the state capitol when you're trying to get some of these initiatives passed? How do you manage some of that conflict? And are you speaking with, you know, leaders on both sides of the aisle?
Absolutely. We have to work across the aisle to get things done. And, you know, I believe Arizona voters sent all of us to the Capitol, Republicans or Democrats, to tackle the tough challenges like rising costs and housing security and our water and our border. And we're not going to get anything done if we don't work together. And this last legislative session, where we were going into a session where Republicans had picked up seats and people thought we would get less done, and we actually had the best legislative session of my time as governor.
You've also done something really interesting, I think, when it comes to business in Arizona. You just spoke at the Semiconductor Summit yesterday. I watched some of what you shared. You've done some work on the border, and I think both of those issues really help to draw in maybe some of those independent voters. Is that part of your plan?
Well, it's part of my plan, not because of the voters that it draws in, but because it's putting Arizona first. It's making sure that we're continuing to create good paying jobs, and that Arizonans are getting those jobs, and that Arizonans in a border state feel safe in their communities.
You know, as we kind of look ahead to the election, I know it's very, very early. We don't know who you'll be running against. But when we look at some of the numbers, Karen Taylor Robeson and you, they would be a very tight and narrow matchup, although you would have a narrow lead. When you look ahead long term, how do you prepare your campaign for something like that? Because you're starting it today, and so you'll have a little bit of a lead in terms of getting ready, and of course you've already been in office.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a narrow race no matter who the Republican nominee is, but I am confident that I can win because of my record on delivering for Arizonans. Republicans, but I'm not taking a single vote for granted. I'm focused on going across the state and earning the votes of Republicans in rural Arizona, Republicans, Democrats, and independents in rural Arizona, here in the cities, young, old. I'm not taking a single vote for granted.
You know, something interesting, I mentioned the semiconductor meeting that was at the Phoenix Convention Center yesterday. Some of those semiconductors, they take a lot of water.
Yes.
To build. We're in a drought.
Yeah. We're
in the desert. How do you manage that, and how do you make sense out of welcoming some of those businesses here to Phoenix?
Yeah, so water is an issue that when I mentioned career politicians ignoring for a long time, that's one of those issues. And we can have sustainable growth if we address our water challenges head on, and that's what I've worked to do. We signed the most consequential water legislation this year since the Groundwater Management Act of 1980 that will help us save tons of water and build housing in some of the fastest growing areas of our state. We're not going to be able to continue to grow sustainably if we're not willing to tackle those things head on. I've done that. I know there's more to do again, but we have to continue the economic growth with Arizona as the epicenter of the semiconductor industry in the United States. It's huge for Arizonans to be able to do that.
And last question for you. You touched on this a little bit in your re-election campaign video that was released this morning. You were an Uber driver, and now you're driving Arizona's big office there at the state capitol. What has your life journey really taught you about leading Arizonans in the future?
I think what it means for me as governor is that I understand so many of the struggles that Arizonans are facing. I drove for Uber to make sure my kids had Christmas presents. My husband and I lost our house in the financial crisis. We're still paying off student loans. It means that every decision I make is about what's best for Arizonans, and that I understand their struggle, and I'm focused on what's right for them and not bringing the chaos of Washington into our state.
Governor, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good luck in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ty.